What's up, everybody? Just coming on over here to Navarre Beach. Trying to enjoy some of this beautiful mid-December weather we got going on. It's not too cold. It's like 58, 60. Feels nice for Florida winters, you know. Sorry for all you other people up there in the north. But anyway, so today I got something special I want to show you guys. I want to do my first review video on my wife's 2011 Sportster. Right there. That's what she is. Yeah, buddy. I think they call that denim black. Get a nice little kind of walk around views over here. We got some rear crash bars on the shock mounts there. We got the Vance & Hines mini grenades with the baffles in there because they're just a little bit too loud for it at first. Got a little dirt on there or something. I did scrape them on the bottom, trying to hit those curves in a little bit too much. Got an air intake on here, or an upgraded air sucker thing, whatever they're called. So we'll make this a stage one. Stage one being the fact that you got your upgraded air intake, aftermarket exhaust. Got a little bag on the front too, and we just got like a cheap Amazon LED light on the front. It's actually not seated properly, so I'm gonna have to find a way to get that in there better. We got forward controls as opposed to mids. That actually came on the bike when we got it. Just to kind of give a little info for if you think you're too short for them. My wife is 5'3" and every bit of 110 pounds, and so she can ride this perfectly, and she really enjoys it. Maybe at some point we'll upgrade the handlebars, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you what almost stock 2011 Iron 883 is. Specs, I'll put those up there on the side of the video. We're looking at probably, I think it's like 49 horsepower and about 55 or 54 pounds of torque. Not sure what the 0 to 60 time is, but this is a Sportster. You're not looking at a sport bike, right? You're not trying to super speed your way through town and everything. We relocated the mirrors because whenever you ride them with them up the top, you kind of get a lot of shots underneath your armpits, and it's not really not really good for your field of view. So when you relocate them to the bottom, you kind of gain that field of view back. We got a 3-gallon tank for your gas tank. I love this matte black though. They call that, I think I already said it, denim black. Oh yeah, that's something. We got some little Amazon bullet style brake lights. They're nice and tinted, but they're nice and bright at night. I'll drop a link in that below in the description as well. But yeah, she's pretty. Fun bike. In my opinion, I think it's a good first bike. I started riding dirt bikes when I was a kid though, so my experience is a little bit more advanced than probably somebody just trying out the bike for the first time. But I will say this is also my wife's first bike, so if that can tell you anything, I think that anybody can learn. But yeah, all right, let's go check out our first ride, okay? How about that? You want to get some opinions? Let's do it. All right, so we couldn't take off without y'all hearing the startup with the Vance & Hines mini grenades, so let's just do that real quick. Oh yeah. Got a nice little rumble to them even with the baffles in. Alright, let's go check this out. Sportster 883. Nice. So yeah, man, I absolutely love this bike. I'll be 100% honest with you. Like, I've always loved the Sportsters because they have that nice cafe racer style look to them, And I don't know, man, every time I've seen them, I've always just been really drawn to them. They always have like nice little dirt appeal to them for some reason. Like dirty, like just grungy and... I mean, you don't have the same amount of torque as you do in like my Breakout. Your engine displacement is much different. Much smaller engine than this. This is 883 cubic inches, cc's. I love it. My wife loves it. I get more compliments on this bike than I do my wife's, actually, just because, I don't know if it's because of the matte black or whatever, and the all black, it just looks clean. But your power difference is a big deal. That's why, in my opinion, it's not a bad starter bike, because it's not going to be so much power where you can't control it. I think wet with all the gas and the oil and all the other fluids, it's like 565, 535. I'll put it on the screen right here. That may sound like a lot. Like I said, my wife's 113 pounds, and you know, she doesn't lift weights or anything like that. So, but she's able to get it around town just fine. And I think like every time you look up bike weights and stuff, it's like, oh, it's a heavy bike. But like really, you know, the hardest part about having anything that's somewhat heavy is literally just backing it up. And she can back it in and out of the garage, no problem. Really, it's like once you get going, it stabilizes itself very well. You know, I'm not saying that somebody that's brand new should go out and, you know, try to ride a road glide or something. Good luck with that one. That's a horse of a bike for sure. It's like driving a couch. But no, I like this bike a lot. It's got a nice, got a good nimble feel to it. You know, it's not anything, not like a performance bike, like a super sport or anything like that. I mean, trying to compare this to an R6 would be outrageous. You know, you're in a more comfortable riding position. What else do I like about the bike? I get pretty decent gas mileage if that's your thing. You know, 3-gallon tank. I haven't ridden it to a full tank yet. I usually fill it up around now actually, but right now I got 60 miles on it, and I usually fill it up about 75 miles just to keep fresh gas in there. What don't I like about the bike though? There's got to be a con for everything, right? And I kind of touched on it a little bit ago. Is the power output? You know, it's not going to be the same as say like a 1200. With the 1200, you kind of, you know, you go up in horsepower, you go up in torque. It's noticeable too. I definitely test drove a 1200 before I bought my bike even, but it all came down to the fact that I wanted to ride something a little bit longer, like longer distance wise. And that's a con for this bike that I give, is that it is not a comfortable bike for longer than, you know, I don't know. I think I've ridden it 100 miles round trip, and then it wasn't a pleasant experience when I got home. Like my butt was kind of hurting. I don't think that there's any one motorcycle seat stock that's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah, I want to get a Saddleman seat for my Breakout too, actually. But you do feel every bump on this one, and that's, I don't know if that's because of the way the suspension is. You know, you got rear shocks. This is also the stock suspension system. I'm sure if you got like if you upgraded the suspension so something a little softer, maybe it would feel different, but I don't know. I think it also has to do with the chassis. The way the bike is designed itself. It's not necessarily meant for super long, comfortable rides, you know? But if you're just riding around town, dude, 100%, I love this bike. Absolutely love this bike. It turns heads. It turns my head every time I get off of it. I'm like, dang, that's a sweet bike, dude. The power is somewhat there if you need it. It's definitely enough for like getting around a car and traffic and stuff. You're definitely going to drop a gear if you're going to be, or maybe even 2 gears depending on what gear you're in before, but to really get some emergency power, I guess. But I feel confident in the, what's up, Vel? But I definitely feel confident in its ability to, like, you know, evade something really quick, you know, if I absolutely needed to. By the way, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for checking out the video. I really appreciate you guys. Always trying to make some more two-wheel content via vlogs, via projects, via bike reviews. Top speed, they say it's like 105. I've gotten it to around there. But if you're absolutely torn between an 883 and a 1200, and especially if you've already had some riding experience, I would definitely go for the 1200. You would definitely appreciate that extra power more. I would imagine probably maybe within 6 months to a year, my wife will want to upgrade to a 1200. She doesn't ride daily though, so that'll be really, it's kind of up to you. Like if you want power, if you want a little bit beefier bike for not much more at all. I mean, it's maybe like $1,000 or $2,000 difference, especially if you go for used. We got this one used and it had like 3,500 miles on it. Well, like I said, it's just such a fun bike though.
What do you mean it's dead?
Dang it. That awkward moment whenever your batteries die and you gotta pull off the side of the road and change them out. Thankfully it was at the beach and I didn't realize it. I just kept on talking, then I looked down and I was like, that's not recording. It's not even on. But anyway, we're back. But I'll tell you what though, another good alternative to the 883 is the 1200, and specifically the Roadster. I test rode a Roadster and I was a big fan. The riding position's a little differently. It's a little bit more aggressive, so you're a little bit more lean forward. The handlebars are kind of like dipped down a little bit. Also the forks are inverted, so it has a different response. And what I mean by inverted forks, like when you look at the forks at the end of the video or whenever I was first showing it off, you'll see like the silver part is on top, which means the springs are on the bottom of the forks. And so when you invert it, your springs are going to be on the top, and the silver part is going to be on the bottom. And not only that, so that kind of just gives it a little bit more of an aggressive response in your steering. But also the nice thing about the Roadster is it has two front brakes, or two front brake rotors rather. Two front discs. There we go. That makes a difference, obviously, in stopping power. Not that the stopping power is bad on the 883. It's just it's different. It's not quite as aggressive. This bike in particular also kind of has a rough rumble at idle, but you know once you're over 1,500, 2,000 RPMs, and it really smooths out and everything. But that's going to be a Harley thing in general, especially with the V-twins and stuff. You're going to have some rumble, but like, you can see that right there, just jumping back and forth. I'll tell you, this is also just me though, and it was like this when I lived in California too. It's like I got to have a wind diverter on the front, like a little wind fairing. They actually make some that go right behind the the speedometer. That look pretty nice, and it just takes the wind off your chest and kind of puts it more over your head. But yeah, this 883, totally every bit of bike that you would ever need in just a riding around town kind of way. Definitely not going to be something that's going to be really fast. If that's what you're looking for, I'd probably look at something different. But if you're new to Harley, you're new to biking, you're new to the cruiser world, it's a solid first cruiser bike in my opinion. What else can I say about this bike though? Maintenance is super easy. Like changing the oil on it is so easy. Like everything is just so easily accessible. I like the wheels on it. I like the spoked wheels a lot. The goal for this bike though in particular, I want to kind of turn it into a club bike if I can convince my wife to do it, because this is actually her bike. I got some ideas. I want to get like some of more of the higher handlebars up here. Not necessarily full apes, but maybe, I don't know, I like the T-bars too. And it may even be one of those like I don't trade or sell or anything like that, just because it's such a fun raw bike. Like I said earlier, it just kind of feels like that nice cafe racer style. I'd sell it to get a Dyna though. Shoot, man, I love the Dynas now. That Lowrider S too though, I mean obviously you're talking about a completely different price range of bike here, but I mean brand new, you're looking at a sub $10,000 bike. And once you get into the Harley range, it gets expensive. I did not say anything like that. But obviously once you get into Harleys, you're going to be kind of spending a little bit more of that money for that brand. Forward controls though, my goodness. If you're anywhere near 6 feet, 5'11", taller, you're going to want to get some forward controls, because having those mid controls on this size bike does kind of make me feel a little bit like a giraffe riding a tricycle or something. I actually want to get some different ones, because these are some cheapo ones, probably from Amazon too. Maybe get like some BMX styles. Those are always kind of cool looking. Feel just a little bit more secure in my foot too. And the nice thing about having forward controls, in my opinion too, is like I'm not over here kicking my shins if I had mid controls, That's some pretty houses back here. Look at that. La Flamingo. There's a tennis court. Actually, growing up down here, I used to have a friend that lived down here. Remember we used to go in those woods right there. He tried to get me to smoke cigarettes one time. I said, nah, fam, I'm drug free, way to be. What's that drug dog? The drug McGruff, whatever his name was. The dare dog. Nah, I don't want to smoke no cigarettes. Good old memory lane back there. Look at that, little motorcycles. Little ATVs and stuff. That was a bunch. I don't know how in the world. Those did not look like the greatest quality at all. I don't care who you are. That was some tiny little bikes. Like dollar store bikes. So yeah, this is my goal for the month, or kind of going forward for the channel, is at least once a month I want to do a bike review. Really looking forward to that live wire. If I can get my hands on one of those, that would be sick. Sick! I got a buddy of mine that I work with that rides an electric bike, and it sounds like Tron just going down the middle of the highway. When you can hear it, whenever there's cars around, you can't really hear it, but it's just like, it's like a Jetson mobile. This sounds pretty cool. But anyway, that live wire looks sick. But I appreciate you guys watching the video, and if you wouldn't mind doing me a big favor and hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell. You want to do it too, dude? Nah. That would be awesome, because it keeps me engaged with you guys. I'm trying to put out some more content. In lieu of Christmas, even though we can't drop a gear and disappear, I am going to drop a gear and spread some cheer. You know what I'm saying? Alright, you guys, let's roll that intro, get some of these slow shots, and we're going to spread that cheer as we drop this gear. Alright?